The subway was dangerous at any time of the day or night, and everyone who rode it knew this and was on guard at all times. 40 years ago in New York City, Bruce Davidson spent countless days in the New York City subway documenting and creating what would become his legendary photo book, Subway. Inspired by this photo book, I'll go to the Mexico subway today and document it how I see it. So sit back, relax, get comfy, and then I'll narrate an excerpt from Bruce's book, and then we'll go right over here to the Mexico City subway and take pictures. To prepare myself for the subway, I started a crash diet, a military fitness exercise program, and early every morning I jogged in the park. I knew I needed to train like an athlete to be physically able to carry my heavy camera equipment around in the subway for hours every day. Also, I thought that if anything was going to happen to me down there, I wanted to be in good shape, or at least to believe that I was. Each morning I carefully packed my cameras, lenses, strobe light, filters and accessories in a small canvas camera bag. In my green safari jacket with its large pocket, I placed my police and subway passes and a few rolls of film, a subway map, a notebook, and a small white gold-trimmed wedding album containing pictures of people I've already photographed in the subway. In my pants I carried quarters for the people in the subway asking for money, change for the phone, and several tokens. I also carried a key case with additional identification and a few dollars tucked inside, a whistle, and a small Swiss Army knife that gave me a little added confidence. I had a clean handkerchief and a few band-aids in case I found myself bleeding. I tied my belt with the heavy strobe power pack on it, slipped on my jacket, put on my cap, slung my camera over my shoulder, made one last trip to the bathroom, and then I was ready for a day in the subway. As I went down the subway stairs, through the turnstile and onto the darkened station platform, a sinking sense of fear gripped me. I grew alert and looked around to see who might be standing by waiting to attack. The subway was dangerous at any time of the day or night, and everyone who rode it knew this and was on guard at all times. A day didn't go by without the newspapers reporting yet another hideous subway crime. Passengers on the platform looked at me with my expensive camera around my neck in a way that made me feel like a tourist or a deranged person. So I had to find a way to feel less vulnerable in the subway without resorting to bodyguards or hiding my camera. To dispel my fears that a mugger might attack me at any moment, I pretended to be a decoy detective. The heavy battery pack with its coiled power cord running from beneath my jacket to the strobe light in my jacket pocket could easily have been mistaken for a police patrol radio. I decided to take the offensive, and so I became a hunter. I looked the part with my olive green bush jacket, khaki pants, high top boots, and canvas-colored camera bag. I read stories about the great hunters of man-eating tigers in India at the turn of the century. While stalking their prey, they essentially looked backwards while walking forward. They also claimed a spiritual connection between themselves and their prey, especially tigers. I began to believe that my spirit could reach out to another and connect to it and overpower it. While riding the trains, I felt alert and lithe enough to be capable of mugging a mugger before he mugged me. I also understood that everyone on the subway wasn't a threat. So despite my fantasies of being a hunter stalking a wild animal, I was still afraid. And it was hard for me to approach even a little old lady. There was a barrier between people riding the subway. Eyes are averted, a wall is set up. To break through this painful tension, I had to act quickly on impulse, for if I hesitated, my subject would get off at the next station and be lost forever. I dealt with this in several ways. Often I would just approach the person. "Excuse me, I'm doing a book on the subway and I would like to take a photograph of you. I'll send you the print." And if they hesitated, I would pull out my portfolio and show them my subway work. If they said no, it was no forever. Sometimes I would take the picture, then apologize and explain that the mood was so stunning I couldn't break it, and hope they didn't mind it. There were times I would take the picture without saying anything at all.
But even with this last approach, my flash made my presence known. When it went off, everyone in the car knew that an event was taking place. The spotlight was on someone. It also announced to any potential thief that there was a camera around. Well aware of that, I often change cars and trains after taking pictures.
So when Bruce Davidson was documenting the New York City subway, he had a film camera and a big flash and battery for the flash. We're not going to do that today. I'm not comfortable enough in film photography and flash for that matter to make that happen, but it will come someday, I promise. I think maybe over here we have a photo if the right person walks down here, but let's see. ¿Puedo? Yo fotografía a la gente de México. ¿Puedo tomar tu foto? Gracias.
That was a little bit dramatic. It's not like the Mexico City subway today is like how the New York City subway was in the 80s at all. Actually, when I go to the Mexico City subway, people are usually super friendly, like you saw in the video, up for taking photos, and yeah, it's one of my favorite places to take photos. And I've taken some of my favorite photos in the Mexico City subway that you see right here. If you're interested to see how it was in the 1980s in the New York subway, this is how the book looks, and I put a link to Bruce's book in the description. It has a lot of incredible photos, and it's a cool story. And actually, my friend Wesley, who you might remember from the video where I buy my first film camera, he visited Bruce and his wife in New York, and he did a blog post and a video about it. I'll link to that too in the description. But I really enjoyed these type of videos where you do a photo walk based on a book, and I would like to do a lot more of them. So if you have any book that you think I should pick up and do a video about, let me know in the comments. And by the way, all photos were shot on the Fuji X-T3 and the 35mm 1.4. I put a link to that in the description too. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon.